Hi guys, and welcome to another session of Honest Talk About Women, where you'll learn tips, tricks and strategies on how to navigate the minefields of dating and relationships. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also comment in the comments section. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you've got a story you want to share with viewers, you can contact me on my email address listed below. So let's get into it. Today we've got a viewer story. I'm a male, 41, and my girlfriend of 2 years, female, 36, have been going through a tough time. We've been living together for 1 year and she moved into my rented house. I'm constantly asking her to clean up her mess. She doesn't do her dishes and our room is always messy. But my biggest gripe is money. She earns $84,000 per annum. I earn $250,000. I charge her rent of $300 per week. Actual rent is $1,000 per week plus utilities. I gave her my second car, a Mercedes-Benz, to use, and she uses my credit card to fill it up and for maintenance. Despite her earning okay money, she is a digital marketeer, and me subsidizing her, she still asks for more money. When we travel overseas, I pay for all the expenses. We fly business class and stay at 5-star hotels, and an average trip is approximately $10,000. We do 2 trips a year. I worked it out that I'm subsidizing her to the tune of about $35,000 per year. P.S. The sex is great and we don't have any kids. What do you suggest? Okay, this is not uncommon, guys. A lot of people in a relationship subsidize the other person, whether it's a man subsidizing his wife or the other way around, a woman subsidizing her husband. So let's get into this. First of all, have an honest talk about your gripes. So you got to pick the time. You got to make sure there's all the home administration is done. There's nothing grating on your nerves. There's no alcohol involved. There's no deadlines or pressures or schedules or meetings to go to. You got like a free Sunday afternoon. Sit down in a relaxed environment and go through your list. And start off with keeping the house nice and tidy for hygiene reasons, to keep the flies away, keep bugs out, keep ants out, and get her feedback and tell her what your requirements are, what your standards are, and the reasons why you want a clean house. So no issues having an honest talk there. And then on to money. That's an interesting one. So this is not uncommon with a lot of relationships. There's always someone that thinks he's or she's paying more than the other person. So honestly, have a honest talk with her about money and say, let's cut back on spending on certain things. There's a cost of living crisis at the moment and we all need to live within our incomes. So it's very interesting, people's relationship with money, because they can be so varied. People can spend 150, 200% of their income and go into more and more debt. Other people are extremely frugal and can have a nice 20, 30, 40% left over from their pay packet every year, based on being very careful in what they spend their money on. So you've got to establish your relationship with your money, and also look at her childhood, whether she had a dad who was a money tree for her and whether she wants a replacement for her dad, and her now boyfriend is the money tree. So that's not uncommon. You've got to work that out too. So what I usually do, it's really important that when you get a girlfriend, she has a great relationship with money, meaning that she knows the feel of money, she knows how to be frugal, she knows how to get value for money, and she knows how to save for a rainy day. Because it's crucial, because just around the corner there'll be times where you need emergency money and for health, for family, and other bills. So you got to be mindful that not every day is blue sky. There's also a lot of rainy days out there. So in the past, when I've had a girlfriend, I've given them my credit card and said, can you go get me a couple of shirts? I can't make it to the mall. This is my size. This is the quality I want. Try and get a deal. And if she comes back with a couple of white shirts and with a receipt and my credit card, and she goes, I got this deal for you. They were priced at $150 a shirt. I got them for $99 each, and I negotiated personally with the shop assistant. So that's a perfect outcome for a test of money. On the other hand, if she comes back with no discount, just a standard purchase plus a whole lot of other purchases on your credit card for her personal use, like makeup, toiletry items, and so forth, then she made a unauthorized purchase using your money for her personal gain. So that doesn't bode well for a long-term relationship. You've got to make sure she understands the value of money. So that's crucial. So that's a little test that I do. So it's really important that people live with their means. And I remember as I was a student, this is going back some time, and you probably won't want to know what years these were, but I was living off $150 a week as a student. And it was split three ways. So $150, there's $50 for rent, $50 for food, and $50 for beer. And I was doing an undergraduate degree at the time, and there's a lot of beer drinking. It was completely normal back then. That's what was done back then. And I had to stick within the budget. And I didn't want to work during the year when I was studying, because it was a fairly full-on course, and you had to work 60, 70 hours a week to get those assignments in. And I wanted to focus on the study, and I budgeted $150 a week. And I was in a grotty student flat. It was just awful. There was no heating. The heating devices was a hot water bottle, believe it or not, and a bar heater. If you wanted to buy a bar heater, you had to go out and buy a bar heater. But there's mold on the wall. It was a grotty student flat. But I was only passing through, and there was no regulations back then about healthy homes or minimum requirements to rent out a property. And I was a student, and there was a lot of guys in the flat, and it was rough, but I survived, and I had a good time. So my point is, you got to live within your budget. $150 back then when I was a student, that's what I did. But as I graduated, I earned more money. You started having businesses. There's a couple $100,000 plus a year that's going through those businesses that you can use for discretionary spending. You tend to spend more. So basically, you cut your cloth to your budget, and you got to live within your means. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. And a lot of people are living on tick, and they are just creeping up more and more debt every year, and it's just not sustainable. So it's really important that you come across people who have a good relationship with money and know how to save. And there's people I know who are earning really good money, $400,000-500,000 a year. Some of them in corporates, some of them are in businesses, and they're blown exactly dollar for dollar. In fact, some spend more than the dollar they earn, and they're living beyond their means, and they're only one step away from it all crashing down. So a lot of these flash areas around town, there's a good chance they don't own a lot of the things they have. A lot of it's owned by the bank. It's very, very deceptive out there, people's status. So she could be looked at as in terms of a future liability. You're currently spending $35,000 a year subsidising her, and it's going to go up. And as should you want to have kids, then the costs will go up even further. She'll drop out of the workforce. That $84,000 is gone, and she'll want more. She'll want her salary plus the $35,000. So it's going to get quite expensive should you go have kids. Obviously, some women take time out of the workforce to stay at home and spend time with the kids. That's all great. The bonding's fantastic, but you got to budget that. And then another problem is trying to get her back to work once the kids are at school, or once the kids are in daycare, or whatever, however you organise it. So there's all these sort of questions you need to ask yourself. And also, if she can't keep your bedroom clean and she leaves dirty dishes around, then having kids is a no-no, because it's going to be a complete shambles, and there'll be breaking times when someone will snap in the house. It's nothing worse than an untidy house, and you've got to stay on top of things for hygiene purposes. So I don't think kids is a good idea should you go down that track, given that she can't keep a house currently clean and she can't live within her means. So some other people cost things out, and some guys, the way they're wired up, they physiologically they require action on a regular basis. And if you want to be a cold hard accountant and say that it costs you currently $35,000 a year, and the average time a couple have action per week is 2.4 times a week, that's approximately 125 times per year. If you whack that into 35,000 cost, it's about $280 per session. So it's getting up there. It's getting up there. There's a lot of guys in sexless marriages who aren't getting any nook at all, and they're subsidizing a wife who's a stay-at-home mum, or maybe not even a mum, just stay at home, and she's not working. And what that guy's getting out of it, I don't know. Maybe he needs his head examined. But in this case, I don't think this woman's the right one for you, but at the start, have an honest conversation, and she may be able to pick up her game. She may be able to need exactly what you need to tell her, that you need to keep your room clean, you need to do your dishes, you need to follow basic hygiene standards, and also live within your means. So perhaps she'll change her ways. Always give her the ability to change, but put a time limit on it. And if she's not changing within 6 months, then by all means call it a day, because it's a future liability and she's not meeting basic hygiene requirements. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you got something out of it. There's a lot of challenges in relationships, guys, and if you want some great advice, purchase the book Alpha Dating off Amazon Kindle. It's a great purchase. It's reasonably priced. You can get it straight away in electronic form, and it gives you some great tips on relationships. So until next time, have a good one.